Yeah. For me, being an influencer is someone that can change someone else's mind, like is to influence by definition. So yeah, sometimes some people have a lot of followers, a lot of high fan base, but they are not able to change people's opinion. And at the same time, that you have like maybe small influencers or micro influencers that, yeah, there is not really too much people following you, but they really trust you. Let's say if you are, for instance, talking about microphones, and maybe you're very good at discussing microphones, but very few people watch you, but they really trust what you say about microphones, then it can be good, because any time you promote a microphone, people will trust you, and then they will buy it, even if maybe they don't say hi to you in the street or something like that. But at the same time, I feel also like if you're a very big streamer, or maybe you do some other type of content that doesn't really drive people to action, that's for me, that does not really fit the definition of influencer.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can have many viewers, followers, subscribers, but you might have a smaller influence on people compared to someone that has smaller numbers, but that really has like a tighter community. And yes, I think it's easier when you have not so big numbers to make the community feel like you're more honest. And I think it also depends on how you talk with them, because I think that, I mean, from my experience of watching other influencers or content creators, if you share maybe more personal information from your life, the people tend to trust you more and to follow your advice more, or what you promote in general. So I think this also is an important factor. How do you communicate with your people, with your community? I think when you accept an offer, it should suit your type of content that you usually do, because if you are choosing the right campaigns, then they will be more successful, and if they are successful, then more companies or brands or agencies will contact you for future campaigns. But also it's the job of the agency as well, or of the brand, to choose suitable content creators, because yes, it's very true. I mean, if I watch a person that usually does gaming and then one day promotes a, I don't know, cream for face, for skincare or anything, it doesn't really suit their content in general, and I won't really trust their opinion that much. And it works the other way around as well.
Talking about the brand side, like if I'm a brand and I'm looking for an influencer, like what do I need to look on? What do you think is I should be paying attention on? Which size you think is important? Like you, for example, this is literally your job. So how do you pick a good influencer for a good campaign?
I think that in general we had more success with smaller influencers, because I feel like they take the campaign more seriously if it's not, I mean, if it's not really highly paid, because it depends on the campaign. Some are well paid, some are, they don't have such a big budget. So this is also a factor, because if you contact a very big influencer and the campaign doesn't have a very big budget, that content creator usually has many offers in general. They can choose from them what suits them better. And if they don't think it's that worth it and they're just doing it for whatever, let's just gain another $200, they're not going to pay that much interest, they're not going to be that engaged and try to incorporate challenges to make it fun for the audience, to motivate them. So that's why this is also an important factor to consider, your budget and how it can motivate the content creator. Because I mean, it's true for all of us. We want to be paid for the job and we want to feel like it's worth it for us as well. Because, yeah, they might accept it, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily very good for the campaign or for them. And to see overall if that influencer had other successful campaigns, if they communicate well, if they seem interested and open. I think the first impression is also important when you contact an influencer, how he responds, if you can talk with them, if they seem open to suggestions. and so on.
What happens sometimes is that for small influencers, maybe they don't have too many offers, or maybe they feel a little bit more appreciation because some of them is the first time they do a campaign, second time, so it's a little bit of more eagerness, like when you get your first job, I guess, something like that. And then bigger influencers, maybe they see it a little bit more like a routine or something. They have a lot of offers they can pick from. I think some big influencers are also very professional, but I think the emotional part is very important for the campaigns to succeed. So with that in mind, I think it's also very important that the influencer enjoys or likes the product or service that is promoting, because if they don't like it, you can really tell. So when it comes to that, or product or service, do you recommend like teaching the influencer how to use the whatever they are promoting? You think it's important like to have some preparation before, or what would you tell the influencer like before starting with the campaign? What do you think is important to take notes on?
Yeah, definitely. I think many content creators might not do the research by themselves before the campaign on the product or on the game or whatever they are promoting. So as an agency or brand, it's important to offer a short guideline, a tutorial or anything. This can really help because they can know how it works, and it feels more honest, it's easier for them and for their community as well. It's just better overall. And it's also important to specify all the details, because I had campaigns where many details were not clear from the beginning, like deadline if there is one, how much it will last, the campaign, how the payment is going to be made, what is the deadline for the payment, how long it will last to receive it, how can we make the transfer. I feel like those are all very important details, and also panels and other things that you should include on the overlay of the stream, because maybe some influencers are not comfortable with a very big panel or widget on their overlay. I mean, you can't know, so you should make sure that they know everything that they should be doing and what they should include.
So Juan is asking in the chat, like, what topics should I omit so that my fan base doesn't get angry? Like, what do you think about that?
I think in general, content creators should avoid anything that is against terms of conditions, and because there are things that you can get banned for in many platforms like on Twitch or on YouTube, you should definitely avoid that. But if it's not something that's against those, I think it might be a gray area. It depends on what connection you want with your community, because as I said, if you share more personal information and opinions, they will trust you more, they will feel more closer to you and your community. But there is the risk that if a part of your community doesn't agree, maybe you will lose them as viewers and supporters. So there is this risk. But to be more specific, politics, religion, usually those things might be a bit risky, but if you want to accept that risk, you can win on some part and you can lose on another part. I think it really depends on how you want your content to be and your relationship with your community.
Yeah, I think it's a great question actually. Because what you're saying is right. Like on one side, if you are more general or you avoid certain topics, then maybe you can get more fan base or less people will get angry at you. But on the other hand, if you are like more specific about your beliefs or you are more open, it can backfire because you will probably lose some followers. But on the other hand, I feel also you will also not maybe gain more followers, but the followers that they agree with you, they will be more closer to you. So I think this is my personal opinion. I'm not sure if there is a right choice. I think it's a preference, but I like being open about what you think. I think these days you have a lot of influencers going around, so I think it's a better strategy. Like aside from what I personally think, I think like from a business perspective, it's important to pick your niche. Like okay, I cannot be like the influencer for everything, like we just mentioned. Like I cannot be the best fit for every product or for every industry, so I will just go hard on one. And when that specific industry or that specific target is requested by the brand, I will be the best choice. I think in my opinion, works best. So I think that's why these days you see a lot of very big influencers that they are very edgy, or like not many people agree with, but they are very big and you don't understand why. I think it's because of that, because the people that they maybe it doesn't relate to you, but the people that really relate to them, they are sharing everything, like commenting everything. If you're a little bit of like more soft, maybe you are big, but then you are not influencing that much. I think the stronger your side, the more ability you have to influence. Influencing is a tool, like being an influencer is a power, and sometimes the influence can be bad, or like marketing strategy aside, maybe you are influencing people to do things that they shouldn't really be doing, or that they are not right. Of course, this is subjective. So how do you mark the line of what's like edgy or what's like controversial to what is like not right, or you shouldn't do, or it's not correct to do? I know these days like people do everything, but from your personal opinion, like where would you draw the line?
If it influences people to hurt themselves or other people, I mean, this is where I would draw that line. That is not okay. But if you only just share your opinion on some specific movie or music or even politics, it shouldn't be such a taboo topic, in my opinion. Laws, even religion, I mean, that's your opinion and it's fine. But if you make, I don't know, racist comments, or if you encourage people to consume substances, or that is not okay. And I would also not really collaborate with a content creator like that for any campaign. But I mean, again, that's just a personal preference. There might be campaigns that don't really care, or managers that would choose even those content creators. But I feel like it's not really okay.
Yeah, like you say, also like being more controversial can be a shortcut to grow faster, but on the other hand, it might close the door for some brands like forever, pretty much. So especially the traditional ones, that if you have like some history of bad behavior, then it will be difficult to get back with them. Of course, like you say, there will also always brands that they are willing to work with you nonetheless, and usually small brands or brands that they don't have any choices. I think digital advertising these days is the new propaganda. So it's a little bit risky when it comes to be like very controversial, because also as a manager, sometimes you sponsor one influencer and then you didn't realize, and then I don't know, 1 year ago or a few months ago he made something that's really like put your brand in a bad position. So it's important to do a background check to avoid those situations.
But yes, the background check is very important, because it will make you look bad as a company or as a brand if you collaborated with someone very controversial. Because if you did something bad at some point, it will never be really deleted. People will remember it, and yeah, even if you change your content at some point, you should be careful, because it's going to be there forever in people's minds, or even uploaded on the internet. There are many tools. Even if you think that content is not accessible anymore, well, it might be, or there might be people that save it or record you, because you never know who is watching you and what is he doing with the content you put out there. It's always a risk.
Yeah, it's going to be on the internet forever, pretty much. Someone somewhere will download it and keep in the computer for their entire life.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Sandra, for your time. Yeah, it was a pleasure, and see you next week.
Yes, thank you as well.